Good morning. If we can start gathering back in our seats. Our presenters are ready and raring to go. Yes. Yes. So, yeah, I need to do something. Sing a song? No dancing. We can sing a song. We need music for dancing.
I like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Hasmina. Thank you, everyone, for joining in the clap. Appreciate you coming back to your tables at after such a short break. But I'm sure that we will make up for the break over lunchtime. There is much to go through during the day. This morning, for our second session, we have with us Sister Filo, Hirota, and Father Emmanuel, Yousaf. Our topic for this morning is focused on promoting gender equality and human rights for all. While they are no stranger to many of you, I would still like to take the opportunity to introduce them. Sister Filo Hirota is, as we all know, the General Coordinator of the Mercedarian Missionaries of Berriz. She worked at the Office of Human Development of the Federation of Asian Bishops Conference, based in Manila. She has served in Bolivia, Nicaragua, Mexico, and she has served on the International Board of Pax Christi International. Currently, she is the International Relations Officer for the Catholic Council of Justice and Peace of Japan. She is also a board member of Women's Active Museum on War and Peace. And so this is in relation to comfort women, if you're not familiar with that. Sister Filo this morning will speak to us on gender equality and promoting the same. Father Emmanuel Yousaf is, as we know, the National Director of Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace in Pakistan. He wants us to remember the acronym CCJP. He has been serving for the last 30 years. His national office is based in Lahore, from which he directs and administers a staff of about 40 people based all over in different parts of Pakistan. Father Emmanuel has worked together in a special way on the issues of blasphemy laws, a core issue of all difficulties in the community, around various communities around Pakistan. This issue, Father Mani says, is like a sword hanging over their heads all the time. So you can imagine how challenging it is to be careful of what you speak and how and where you speak. It is tedious and dangerous work, he says, and by God's grace he is still working. He has worked on repealing the law, the blasphemy law, and stopping the misuse of this law. And to this end, he works with the Muslim theologians, the Ulmas, encouraging them to speak on this issue. He will speak to us on that issue, the human rights issues in Pakistan. He also will touch on the biased education curriculum that he works against. So please join me in welcoming Sister Filo and Father Emmanuel. Sister Filo has requested, because she is using some PowerPoint presentations, that she will sit by the computer and she will walk us through. I invite you to listen.
Is there any way to have microphone here?
Yes.
Because I need 3 hands. I have this.
Can I move this with the stand? So she
is there any way, or I have? Sorry. At the plenary assembly of the Federation of Asian Bishops' Conferences in 1986, that's a long time ago, in Tokyo, there was a workshop on the topic of women in the church. For the first time in its history, an Indian woman by the name of Stella Faria repeatedly said, "A woman is a person. A woman is a person." And the bishops who listened to her must have been impressed by her insistence. The final document included a sentence that said, "The recognition of women's full personhood has equally to be evident in the church, for the church cannot be a sign of the eschatological community if the gifts of the Spirit to its women are not given proper recognition, and if women do not share the freedom of children of God. They expect significant representation in the ministries and decision-making processes of the church." So this was 1986. So Stella's cry is still relevant after 30 years, both in society and in the church. There are so many situations and realities where women are not regarded as human persons. There are so many obstacles that prevent women from living our humanity fully. Women are beaten, mutilated, murdered, discriminated, pushed aside, ignored, enslaved, sold as commodities, made invisible simply because we are women. HuffPost in October this year said, "Egregious gender inequality still exists globally despite of substantial national and international measures that have been taken towards gender equality. Only 4 out of over 135 nations have achieved gender equality, including Costa Rica, Cuba, Sweden, and Norway. Measures of gender equality include access to basic education, health and life expectancy, equality of economic opportunity, and political empowerment. All of us are familiar with the reality of the feminization of poverty or even feminicide. Though much has been achieved to enable gender justice, deeply seated prejudice still exists, especially in culture. Culture determines and justifies what is lived and practiced. Just think of some sayings you find in your own culture which are negative about women. Some Chinese characters, which we use also in Japan, depict the inferiority of women. The character in the middle means women, and all the other characters carry the women. So, and then like where is the mouse? For example, there's 3 women: noisy, talkative, superficial. This means, oh, one. Disgusting. Oh yeah, that's right. Yes. You know, things like that. Or the other one means jealousy, etc. Also, think of the image of an ideal woman in your culture. Are the qualities all positive human values? Can they apply? Can they be applied also to a man? Many women have internalized these feminine virtues, which are not exactly positive humanizing values. Women have accepted oppression or segregation in order to be accepted and appreciated as a survival tactic. So, we are talking about relationships between women and men. We are talking about something that could be also very personal. How do I, a man, feel when I face a woman? Am I, as a man, deeply convinced that the woman has the dignity and rights as a human being, and sexism is a sin against the integrity of creation? The same sin exists in our church too. I am part of the JPIC network, Justice, Peace, Integrity, and Creation, of the two unions of superiors general in Rome. More and more congregations of men and women do have the JPIC promoters based at their generate in Rome. I belong to a JPIC working group on collaboration of both women and men in the church. We did not name this working group consciously as the working group on gender justice, not to use the word gender, which is very dangerous. Last year, we organized a highly successful conference given by an Italian lay woman who is a feminist theologian. I say successful because of the number of participants. Out of 90 plus who came, there were less than 10 men. It seems that the JPIC promoters committed to justice in the world don't seem to see the question of gender injustice as an important justice issue. Do they think that this is women's question? When Pope Francis talked about the need of theology of women in the church, we said what we need is theology of humanity. Humanity that consists of women and men. Gender injustice is a challenge to the whole humankind. It's not women's question or women's issue. So let us briefly look at Jesus, who challenged the Jewish culture of his time. The society Jesus lived did not look at women as equals. A Jewish male would pray in the morning saying, "Thank you, Lord, for I am not a sinner, a pagan, or a woman." A woman was impure for 7 days when she gave birth to a male baby, and for 14 days if the baby was a girl, according to the Torah. So this is the society where Jesus lived. So let us listen to and look at Jesus. When he saw her body, he took her by the hand and said to her, "Harita kum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." She immediately arose and walked around. According to the law, it is prohibited to touch the dead body. The woman said to him, I know that Messiah is coming, who is called Christ. When he comes, he will proclaim all things to us. Jesus said to her, I am he, the one who is speaking to you. This is the only time that Jesus reveals himself as Messiah, at least in the Gospel. And he revealed himself to a woman, a Samaritan woman. Truly, I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. So what she did is part of the good news. And of course, he presented himself to a woman after the resurrection, although men did not believe what she told them. So have we truly embraced this message of Jesus as the good news? And are we committed to bring the good news to the world and to the church? It is also to respond to Jesus' message that affirms, I have come that they may have life and have it in all its fullness. Sustainable Development Goal 5 says, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. The United Nations also recognized the important role of women as peacemakers. Women and men both reflect the image of God, the feminine and masculine face of God. Pax Christi recognizes the importance of gender justice in the work for peace, justice and integrity of creation at this critical moment of our planet. We all know the important and needed contribution of women in peace work. We all have experience of need and relevance of working together, men and women, as equal partners. We know we are different, and the diversities and differences make our service more relevant and meaningful. I would like to just briefly mention 2 more points as we try to deepen our commitment to gender justice in the Asia-Pacific region, and as well as in the church, of course. One is about complementarity between men and women. Complementarity entails that men and women have equal dignity as persons, but that this equal dignity is premised on and manifest in essential and complementary differences. The framework of complementarity resorts to assigning roles according to biological sex. It declares women and men are equal, but roles assigned according to biology, meaning to affirm that women are not created to do a man's job. The other is about the myth of the term gender ideology, based on the idea of this complementarity. The term is used to silence any discussion on women. We cannot have conversation about women and men when the basic vocabulary for this conversation is almost demonized. We need to have a clear understanding of terminology. I would like to conclude quoting Father Orabato, Nigerian Jesuit, who was the only male speaker at March 8 International Day of Women celebration at the Vatican in 2015. Every year, this was fourth year, there is a celebration of March Day at the Vatican, not organized by the Vatican. It is organized by a billionaire woman from Liechtenstein who has a good connection with some cardinals. So, Father Orabato was the only male speaker in 2015, and I would like to quote him. Humanity is not about one side. It's about both. It's man, it's woman, it's male, it's female, it's all together. I feel that there's something in me that will continue to be violated as long as that wholeness is not achieved, or as long as I participate, whether unconsciously or inadvertently, or by virtue of my belonging to this institution. As long as I participate in that process of exclusion, I still feel violated. I feel responsible. This is my deeply held conviction. As long as there's exclusion, we are not whole. We are not complete. We are not an integral body. Something about our integrity is violated. And we are responsible for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Filo. Just take a minute to kind of let it sink in. There's some powerful words shared there by Sister Filo, and the quote that she has shared with us as well. Father Emmanuel, I will kind of. Would you like this microphone, or are you comfortable sitting and talking there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will be briefly talking about our organization, the Service Commission, just run down what we do and how we do it. We'll give you more picture about in a very difficult situation that we start, not only for women, for us also with that. And also I will be touching about the blasphemy law, because wherever I go, especially, I would like to talk about it, that let people know, what it means and how we feel about it and how we face it. So little about our office. The Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace is a human rights body established by the Pakistani Catholic Bishop Conference in 1985. I would like to add a note into it, because we are just talking about the bishops many times, but I tell you, our bishops are very much together with us. Anything we do, we have their blessing. And the office also is, we have young people working in the office, very devoted, very committed, and all are lay people, both women. I'll come back to it later. They are working over there, and we are, as an advocacy organization, the Commission focuses human rights of the marginalized, especially of religious minorities, women and children in Pakistan. That involves intervention regarding awareness, opinion building about law and policy reforms. CCJP carries out its activities through 7 regional diocese offices, that is in Rawalpindi, Gujranwala, Faisalabad, Multan, Hyderabad, Karachi and Quetta. These are 7 places, 7 dioceses, and we have commission working together with the national office in Lahore. Our national office at Lahore, for its activities in the field of CCJP, relies on a cadre of 500 human rights activists. These are the volunteers belonging to different religions, cultures, administrative region of Pakistan. The national office engages in lobbying and advocacy at the provincial, national and international level with government officials, parliamentarians, religious leaders, diplomats, permanent mission and international agency bodies and community. In 2001, CCJP was bestowed with an International Human Rights Award by Jae Hang Soon, that is Tulip Foundation of South Korea, for its services in promotion of human rights. And we are grateful and thankful to them bestowing this award to us. Commission of, there was second award given by Pax Christi. In 2016, CCJP was awarded the Pax Christi Peace Award 2016, shared with the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan for its work on peace and harmony in society, for which I am very grateful. My office is very grateful that you have given us this award this year or last year. Thanks a lot. Our aims and objectives to contribute effectively in building a just, human and peaceful society, fostering and defending human rights through advocacy and awareness, to advocate for the rights of religious minorities in the state of Pakistan, to conduct study and research relating to special importance human rights, justice and peace, to publicize these studies and reflection in order to create a wider consciousness on issues of human rights, justice and peace, and social harmony, to incorporate and build linkages with other like-minded organizations, politicians and religious representatives and government officials. We engage with each and everybody, and we can approach anybody and we approach them without any fear. We just, whatever we publish, we give to the government agencies, and these, we call them friends. They visit us a lot in our office. It is becoming more and more that they come and investigate. So, I mean, we answer whatever they ask us. You know, that's. We have thematic areas of the commission. First is discriminatory laws and practices. That is about blasphemy law, which I'll come a bit later. Unbiased education, policies, practices and implementation. There's a curriculum in which we have very much biased material, and we have put line by line, page by page, and book by book, class by class. So we have given that also. We have a booklet there, you can see it. Freedom of religious or belief. There's forced conversion which is happening more and more. And especially our girls are abducted, and overnight they are made Muslims, and there and then they are married. So it's very difficult how to approach, but still